Yes, Lois, my... What? What? Look up in the sky! What is he doing?
Didn't know what time it was, the lights were low.
Superman, help us! That one I get. Yeah, sometimes your underwear rides up. You gotta do that. We see the fit, bro. Come on.
There's a starman waiting in the sky.
All of Metropolis was destroyed.
Whoa, the Superman trailer is here. If you're not hitting that like button or subscribing after that intro, I don't know what else to do for you. So what I'm going to be doing here for you guys is giving you my Superman trailer breakdown, giving you my reaction to what I thought about some of the sequences in here, some of the Easter eggs and details you might have missed, how this connects to the overall DCU. I'm for sure going to want to know your guys' opinions because a lot is riding on this trailer. James Gunn already said in an interview that if this movie doesn't do well, we're not getting a DCU. But all right, kicking things off with my overall thoughts on this trailer, I thought it was a really good one. It did exactly what a teaser trailer needed to do, is just invite you into this world, give you a feel of it without giving away too much. There's for sure a couple of things I wasn't expecting to see be part of this trailer, and I know there's also going to be things about it that isn't going to win everybody over. But the high moments of this trailer, like Superman saving a little kid, shots like that is exactly what I wanted from this version of Superman, that hopeful, bright light. I know yesterday with the teaser trailer for the teaser trailer, we were bombarded with people not loving the color and style of the movie. It's working for me. Now that I'm seeing Superman in action and his colorful, bright outfit in this sort of darker and sharp world, you can easily see why they chose for the movie to look this way. But I understand that's still a preference for some. So overall, I liked it, but now let's get on to what is going on in this trailer. All right, so we kick things off here with Superman just falling to the ground, I'm assuming near his fortress of solitude. In some of the recent interviews, James Gunn said that the movie will actually begin right in the middle of the action, and I feel like this could honestly be the opening of the movie or the very beginning, where Superman is just not in the best place. You can see he's beat up, he's bleeding, can't even breathe, hardly can move. Well, then we are cutting shots to him as his alter ego Clark Kent at the Daily Planet, which I'm just liking the style and look of Metropolis. They're going with this retro futuristic look, so although they have like flat monitors and people probably have smartphones, if you really look at some of the keyboards and mouses, they look like something straight out of 2005. And that's because James Gunn really wants the DCU to feel like an alternate reality, not exactly our universe, like a place you can just go visit, and I think that is the right way to go. That is also further explanation on the color palette, because people have pointed out there's a lot of orange and blue hues, and that's a color palette very reminiscent whenever doing scenes in the 70s. And with them using a guitar version of the John Williams score, which I'm digging, but I am hoping in later trailers or more in the movie, this Superman builds his own identity, because come on, that score is just so iconic and great. Even with an electric theme, it's a little bit of cheating because it just brings out the Superman in all of us. But that's because James Gunn is just a really big fan of the Donner version of Superman that came out in the 70s, so he wanted to bring in that flavor here. While Superman is still reminiscing on his life, we get a shot of the Kent farm along with Papa Kent. It's looking like in this version of Superman, Papa Kent hasn't passed away yet, unless these are flashback scenes. And while that has made some people mad, there are versions of Superman and stories where Pa Kent is an essential figure in helping Clark Kent become Superman, hide his identity, where Pa Kent and Superman even read books on acting and figure out how to build his personality as Clark Kent and Superman. There's a part of me that's always loved the oblivious doofus side of Superman that we get in other movies, and just this small shot of like Superman turning around, acting like he doesn't know anything going on, is exactly what I want from Clark Kent. But then we get Superman whistling, and I knew immediately that meant Krypto was rushing in, and you could see him from afar coming to the aid of his owner, and I just love seeing Krypto. I did not think we would be taking him seriously or putting him in a situation like this where Krypto would actually be saving the life of Superman. But in a situation like this where Superman is like paralyzed or can hardly move, well then who else can pick up and move Superman as quickly as he does without hurting him? I also love that he has his own mini cape and collar with the Superman symbol. But I also know it's going to be cute, lighthearted stuff like that that is going to piss some people off, because some people are used to only serious Superman. After Krypto saves Superman, we are immediately treated to a shot involving a little kid who is about to become victim to a kaiju attack where Superman swoops in and saves her. And it's these shots, man. These are the things that gets my goosebumps a-flowing in superhero movies. Little mundane superhero savings like this is what I live for. So I'm glad we're going to dedicate sequences to Superman doing these kinds of acts. But we do have to talk about a freaking kaiju being part of this movie. We get a better shot of him later in the trailer, and I had actually heard months ago there would be a kaiju in this trailer or even in this movie, and I didn't want to believe it, so I didn't bring it up. I didn't talk about it because I was like, that's a little out there. But I guess it's just really going to show you the different kind of universe we're about to get. This is a world where superheroes have been there, not just recently, but for a long time. James Gunn has talked about the history of the DCU is similar to our history, except if superheroes always existed. So this is a world where people are born knowing superheroes exist, they're out there, and they help us sometimes. This actually also plays into the main theme of this Superman movie, where we saw this glorious symbol inspired by the story Superman Kingdom Come, where that's all about a world where superheroes have gone rampant. Superman himself has retired, he's older, but he decides to step back in and stop these superheroes from treating being a hero like a celebrity and bring back the core values of what it means to be a superhero. We're going to be doing that in Superman, but it's going to be early in his career, and it still makes sense, especially with the comic book world we have now. We live in a day of cinematic universes where heroes are no longer standalone and on their own, and while yes, that did kind of bother me at first when I heard people like Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific would be in the film, because I do not want this thing to feel overstuffed or not like a Superman movie. It is an interesting challenge because it sets itself up in a world filled with endless superhero movies. What makes a Superman movie special? And he's going to tackle that here. How he's going to do that, we'll get into that in a sec, because from there we then get shots of Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and dude, this guy already looks so pissed and angry. There's so many wonderful shots of him in the trailer though, like him holding this pistol that screams Lex Luthor, but from like the 70s. It's got this old school vibe to it that I'm digging, and I'm glad is part of this film. James Gunn said in interviews that from the beginning of the movie, Lex Luthor already hates Superman, and I'm gonna be interested why specifically Superman, or is it just all superheroes in general, or is he just nitpicking Superman out of all the other ones that exist? I'm thinking it's gonna be because he doesn't seem to fall in line, or he's just kind of grossed out by how goody two-shoes he is. But here's now where we start getting real tidbits that give us an idea of the plot and the direction of this movie. So we get a scene of Superman who's already been through some battle. He's a little dirtied and dusted up, and people behind him hate him at this point where they're throwing trash at him. I'm definitely thinking Lex Luthor is having something to do with this because he's always trying to ruin Superman's public image. But it looks like Superman is almost turning himself in or giving up to something he really doesn't want to do. We see he actually enters a building for Stag Industries, and in this building the other superheroes are there. Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, which, just talking about them for a second, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner and that bowl cut just look ridiculous. I know it's just from the comics and they were trying to pull it in, but this is also a thing where just because it works in the comics doesn't mean it's gonna work in live action, because man, just looks so dumb. But whatever, I'm just happy to see a Green Lantern get some love, and the process for us to redeem the Green Lantern name is in the works, because we also just found out he's going to be coming back for the Lantern show that is in the works. That's going to be starring Aaron Pierre as Jon Stewart and Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan. But behind him, you can see Hawkgirl and even Mr. Terrific are there, and they're basically in uniform. It's rumored that they're being sponsored by like Maxwell Lord, who is going to be played by James Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn. And you know that's just going to be something Superman doesn't agree with, is being sponsored and given things just for being a superhero. You should do it out of the kindness and goodness in your heart. But they're not in Maxwell Lord Industries. They're in Stag Industries, which really makes it more clear what's happening here. Stag Industries is owned by Simon Stagg, and one of the important things he does in the comics is he's the man responsible for sending out Rex Mason, an archaeologist, to Egypt, where he comes in contact with an orb that grants him the abilities of Metamorpho. And we do get one quick shot of Metamorpho in this trailer, and out of all the other superheroes, he's probably the one I'm most excited to see. Metamorpho is able to change the elements of his body, going from a solid, a liquid, to a gas. He can basically turn into any element he desires, and that sometimes does include kryptonite. I think this will be the disagreeing point in Superman, because we know he's going to end up disagreeing with his fellow superheroes. He's going to be looked at wanting to handle things the wrong way, but he does that because he thinks it's the right thing to do. And I feel like that has something to do with Metamorpho and what to do with a person with this kind of ability. Should he just be a test subject? Should he be enlisted and forced to be a superhero? And I can also imagine Lex Luthor would want him just to also experiment on him even more if he's capable of producing kryptonite to harm Superman. I also think that's how this country, Boravian, which I believe is a made-up place for this movie, this will probably serve as the Egypt where the orb came from, where he got his powers. Lex Luthor has definitely sent out people with his tech all armored up who are rocking colors of purple and green, usually the colors that Lex Luthor rocks when he's in his mech suit. Really cool just to see that small detail there, but they're going up against Mr. Terrific, who looks to be saving Lois Lane in this moment. Mr. Terrific is actually said to be the most important out of all the other superhero supporting cast members. That's what James Gunn mentioned, that he's going to play a big role. And yo, I was really worried about how his T-mask would come off. It's looking better than I thought it would, and I think I could get used to it, but he's supposed to be the third smartest person in the DC universe, and you can already see Lex Luthor's tech is no match for him. Still, we'll see if Metamorpho and what to do with him ends up being the conflicting point of this movie. Other small details I do want to mention is this quick shot of Superman that's holding the hand of a robot. I'm thinking that this is in the Fortress of Solitude, and this might be a robot from Krypton. The Fortress of Solitude is usually where Superman goes to get away from everything, but it also holds the history of where he came from, and this movie is going to be dealing with the history of his Kryptonian parents and how Superman wants to handle that being raised by human parents. It looks like Lex Luthor or somebody else is going to find this Fortress of Solitude and destroy it, blow it up, and I think that's also what leads to Superman being in critical condition at the beginning of this trailer. We also got to talk about these quick shots of what looks to be Ultraman, this Superman clone, or at least he sometimes is in the comics, fighting up against Superman. This is going to be part of the movie where they address the evil Superman trope that has become popular, but I think there's a big reason that they covered Ultraman from head to toe. Did Lex Luthor actually successfully clone Superman, or who is behind that mask, and are they going to be either Bizarro or Doomsday in the future? Because that's usually what they do with the Superman clone. They turn them into Bizarro or Doomsday. And then also that small shot of some weird creature in Metropolis causing destruction, but I'm thinking Green Lantern is on the case and taking care of it, which is why it seems like Superman really doesn't care, because city's in trouble and bro's trying to rizz up Lois Lane, but I get it. I get it. So overall, I loved what I saw. It gave me what I wanted out of a Superman movie. It's definitely feeling different. It's got things I didn't expect, but I mean, why would I just want the same old Superman movie recycled over and over? I'm willing to give this a shot. I want to hear from you guys. What did you love? What did you dislike? Anything and everything. Be sure and like, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.